Good morning, everybody, and welcome. My name is Glenn Daniels. Let me ask you, would you pinpoint your biggest productivity block if you had the secret to resolving them? Wouldn't you want to pinpoint the three things that would take your professional and personal life to the next level if you knew it would cost you just less than a fraction of your time? This morning on Essential Leadership Skills Live.
This is a Touchstone Publishers presentation, your trusted source of leadership knowledge.
And good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. My name is Glenn Daniels. I'm the COO of Touchstone Publishers, and welcome to another Monday morning live show. So today's topic is planning your day. Let's think about planning our day so we can plan our entire week, plan our entire month. Let's call this week our practice week for the month of April. I'm going to challenge you to start to plan your day every day, either at the night before or the morning of that day. And I want you to plan what your top 3 activities are going to be. Do you want to be successful? Make sure you know what your top 3 activities are. Do you want to have a successful personal life as well as a business life? Understand what your top 3 activities are. And the reason why we say this bleeds over into your personal life, you spend most of your time at work. Most of your time is at work. And when you spend that much time at work, it has an effect upon the rest of your day, the rest of your life, the drive to and from work, whether you're anxious and mean or just relaxed, how you treat people when you get home. How do you treat them when you get home? How do you treat them when you go out on dates or have family time? This has a lot to do with your behavior based upon what happens during your workday. So why not start having a professional workday planned out before you start your day? Oftentimes it's suggested that you do it the night before. Well, that's fine. I used to do it the night before all the time. And then I realized I'm still adjusting it for the day. So I get up in the morning and I adjust it for the day, and that's fine. It makes the process easier. What I'm going to ask you, though, to look at is what are your top 3 functions, your top 3 responsibilities, the top 3 things that you need to get done today. Okay. What are those top 3 things? Here's a simple way for me to ask you this. How does your boss know that you're doing a good job? What is the criteria they use to tell if you're doing a good job? Do you know that answer? Do you know that answer? Can you go ask your boss, what are the 3 things you use to determine if I'm doing a good job? Let them tick them off to you. Ask questions to clarify. And now you know your top 3 things. What are the top 3 things that you need to measure? Measure what needs to be measured. Okay. Top 3 things. Social media. Am I having the presence on social media? Am I getting out on all the channels that I need to be on? Am I following up on the leads that are presented to me from my social media channel and from some of the marketing that we're doing? Do I follow up on those? Okay, and then thirdly, am I creating content of great value? My top 3 things that I need to look at to make sure I do every single day. Am I following up my leads that are being generated from my social media activity? Am I creating great content that causes those leads? You see how if I've planned those 3 things out, those are my major top 3 goals. But inside each of those, what's most important about following up on my leads? I have 10 goals that I'm behind, 10 leads that I'm behind on right now. So I need to get those 10 leads done. Those are my top 3 things I need to get done. One of my top 3 things to get done is to plan my leads, okay, and follow up on my leads. So as you see, you can start drilling down into what each little function means. But you have to start measuring what counts. And what counts is how your boss determines that you're doing a good job, how they're going to determine if they're going to get a pay raise. Now, when I ask this question in a live setting, 80 to 95% of the room cannot tell me how they're being engaged on doing a job well. They guess at it at best. I'm going to ask you to go set a meeting with a person you report to directly. Go to that person today, when you report to directly, and ask them, what are the top 3 things you use to judge whether I'm doing a good job? Ask the questions necessary. so that you can kind of get a look at it and kind of say, okay, well, this person wants this, they want that, they want this. Write them down. But if you don't know it, how does a person who's reporting to you know? How are you judging them? How are they supposed to know it? If you ask people who report to you, well, how do you know that they're doing a good job? Or how do they know that they're doing a good job? How do they know that? They really don't know that, because you don't know what it takes. So if you don't know what it takes, you're not letting them know what it takes. You find out what it takes for you to do a good job in your boss's eyes, and that'll give you a sense of clarity. That sense of clarity will allow you to go back to the person who reports to you and say, this is what I need you to do. This is what I'm judging you on, so that you can do a good job. When you set expectations with people, you set the expectations. That's all people want to know, is what they should be doing. 80% of the people just tell me what I should be doing and what I'm being judged on. So if you have that low-rung person who their only mission is to keep their job, but they know in order to keep their job, this has to be done, this has to be done, and this has to be done. They know in order to keep that job, to keep that paycheck coming in, they're just there for the money. They don't have that passion, burning passion that you have. They are there just to collect the money. Make sure you're very clear with what your expectations are with them in order for them to continue to collect that money. Now, if they're extremely lazy, people you don't really want to work with, as you set those expectations, they will start to work the way out of the organization. Because if they don't want to do that, and it's very clear that this is part of the job expectation, they don't want to do that, they're going to start working the way out. Or they're going to not do it, and then you'll have grounds to continue the counseling discussions with them, continue the paperwork track with them, because they're not meeting what the expectations was. So they cannot sit in that final meeting when you're saying, hey, we have to go our separate directions, and say, well, I never knew what direction you wanted me to go in. Each time we had our meeting, we laid out the directions. We laid out where you should be. We laid out what your key performance indicators are, your KPIs, what I measure to determine if I'm doing a good job or if you're doing a good job. These top 3 things that you're giving to your team, that's how you create accountability. When they know these are the 3 things I'm being judged on, if I don't make them, I'm in trouble. I have a problem. If I make them, things are good. Okay? Make sure when you're creating your top 3 things that pleases your boss, that makes that person know that you did a good job, that your employees are getting the same thing. That expectation creates trust. When you have expectation, it creates trust. When you have accountability, it creates trust. So I'm going to ask you to make sure you start planning out your top 3. Do you want to know? Do you want to know the secret, though, to you being effective in your professional life and your personal life? Plan your top 3 activities every single day. These are the 3 things I'm going to do. And then I'm going to suggest that you block the time out on your calendar. I block it out, but it's movable. So my assistant knows that if an appointment comes in or a meeting request comes in and it's from my boss, she can move this block of time down to accommodate the boss. But when the boss first looks at it, they don't see that time available. They see another time, so they might select that other time. But if she gets a phone call and say, hey, I need to meet with Glenn right now, or I need to meet with Glenn by 2 o'clock today, she can move some things around. My top 3 things are blocked on the calendar, time blocked, so that you can move them. Don't delete them, but move them if necessary. Move them around as necessary. Put them on your calendar so that when people are trying to schedule time with you, it's kind of blocked. So they have to actually send you an email to say, hey, Ken, we meet at this time. This is the only time I can meet. Then I can slide something around, make it fit. They talk about time management sometimes being taking the big rocks and putting those in first before you fill everything else in. Well, your big rocks are your top 3 KPIs, your top 3 key performance indicators, your top 3 most important tasks that you need to complete today. That is the power of this program. It sounds easy, but it's really not, because once you start looking at what I have to do in order to do my job to the best of my ability, those are the top 3 things. But then you have to add on all the other things that you want to do to help you do your job better, like delegate a task to somebody. Delegation is a whole another subject, but if I have one of my top 3 things, maybe to delegate meetings to so-and-so. So maybe I want Jill to go to meetings instead of me. I have to delegate that to her, and I have to teach her how to do it, because she has to go into this meeting, get the notes, get everything down so that I understand it and the rest of her team understands it. And she's growing in her career, right? Because now she's attending the meeting. She's got a little bit more visibility in the group. So one of Jane's top 3 is going to be to disseminate the meeting notes in a way that everybody understands what's going on at the meeting in a bullet point form, so I can know exactly what happened at that meeting, and everybody on her team can know exactly what happened at the meeting, what the main points were, what was to be learned. Maybe that falls in my top 3. Again, your top 3, planning them out. Oftentimes you can do those at nighttime before you go to bed, or I used to do them before I left the office. In fact, as I was leaving the office, times have changed. My office is my home, so I don't get to do that anymore. But when I was leaving my office, that's how I ended my day. I drew the line in the sand, said this day is over with. I'm not going to be worried about it till morning. I'm going to go home and focus on my wife and kids. That would be the way to do it. Okay, or I'm going to go home and rest. Okay, read a good book. Okay. I'm going to suggest that that's what you start looking at to do. Laying out those 3 things so it draws a line so it ends the day. Now, I realize during this pandemic time period, things are different. A lot of us are not going to the office anymore. A lot of us are working from home, and the kind of all draws in together before you know it's 8, 9 o'clock at night and you've been working. You need to still set an alarm clock or something so at whatever time it is, 4:45, I start wrapping up the day. Okay. Wrapping up the day means for 15 minutes, I plan out what I need to get done tomorrow. So then it's over with. I'll read my books, whatever I need to do. Eat dinner, read books, and then get some rest. The next morning I get up and I go sit down at my computer and I start figuring out, okay, are these still the 3 things? Did something new come to me overnight that I need to take care of? Did I get a new thought in my head while I was sleeping? Or is there a new thought out there this morning? I need to look at all those things, and then I can redo my top 3. My top 3 will always be defined by how the person I report to knows I'm doing a good job. Yes, there's some fluctuation in that, but as long as I define it that way, that's what I want to have done. So, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you very much for taking your time with us this morning on Essential Leadership Skills Live. I'm looking forward to having another opportunity to speak with you. We're on every Monday through Thursday at 7 a.m. Eastern Time. So please feel free to join us then, Monday through Thursday at 7 a.m. Eastern Time. We will have a great time together. We'll learn some information. Please comment all you want to about what you would like to learn, what you'd like to pick up, so we can get to that and make sure we're on that same page. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you very much for spending the time with us. We're going to have a great day. I hope you have a great day as well.